Creating the Gateway Center, a replacement for Albuquerque's existing shelter on the city's far west side, has been approved. Now the big question, where to put it. As Albuquerque grapples with NIMBY, not in my backyard opposition as you know it, Santa Fe also deals with people experiencing homelessness. Las Cruces, Farmington, Taos, other New Mexico cities are also dealing with how to best address homelessness. And Diane, do you think New Mexico cities are doing an adequate job as you've been reading up for this segment? What's your sense overall how the bigger cities are handling homelessness here?
No, I don't think so. I was very impressed with the article that talked about what Santa Fe is doing. They are using a program called Built for Zero, which is being done, and there are several cities in different states that have gotten their populations down to zero, or functionally zero. And what they do is they divide it up. You have the continuously homeless, the military homeless, other divisions, and they take each segment and solve that problem first. Instead of blanketly spreading all their resources, they solve a problem at a time. And Santa Fe started with their military, and they are now at what they call functionally zero of homeless military. And that impressed me very much. I was very concerned about this continuous haranguing about where the place is going to be in Albuquerque. I mean, we spent more time talking about where it's going to be located rather than getting it built, designed, built, and moving forward. And I understand NIMBY, and in my neighborhood doesn't happen to be one of the ones suggested. But I still think if we look at the big picture, we're wasting so much time at doing what we need to be doing. And it seems like we're doing such shotgun attacks to the issue that we're not really getting things focused.
Interesting point there, Serge. You know, we found money in the legislature for practice fields, for other things, but we can only come up with 50 grand out of the $14 million ask for the homeless shelter here. We're going to press on with this anyway. The city's got a plan. They'll go back next year and ask for the remainder. But your sense of it, how you see the city approaching this now and how we're going to get out of this mess?
Well, I mean, I love that the city has, made this a priority, and Mayor Keller has said, okay, I'm going to try to jump on this. But saying, we need X millions of dollars for a shelter, that's not the cure-all either, right? There's so many ways that people are homeless and so many things that we need to address. I mean, I am a housing first guy, right? The best solution to homelessness is to get someone a home. But simply saying, let's build one big, gateway structure in Albuquerque, I love it. The idea of let's put all these resources together, but it's easy to say, well, we did that, so now we don't have to worry about, we don't have to do anything else. And I'm certainly not convinced that's gonna be the thing that ends homelessness, here in Albuquerque or anywhere in New Mexico. And like Dan was saying, what is really important is a committed effort by everybody. And that's what, if the legislature is not saying this is important to us, that's a big message, right? Housing for veterans is, I wouldn't say easy, but there are a lot more resources for a homeless vet than there are for a homeless person who is not a vet, right? You have federal sources just that you don't have available.
Good point.
And doing the low-hanging fruit first is great. That's what, Houston has done a really good job by starting with their Housing for Heroes, and they've done the same thing, try to work their way down. But what they've done, what we see that is effective is real commitment from everybody. And so if we're saying, well, that happens in Albuquerque, that's the big city's problem, and we're going to just put it all in this one place, that is never going to work.
You're reminding me as I read this Santa Fe, New Mexican story, Lieutenant Governor that Daniel Chacon did, about this fellow that was around the mayor's office for weeks and weeks and weeks, Tracy Lee, a 62-year-old homeless man, just started hanging out at City Hall. And I hear, the Senator's point about this. It just illustrates the difficulty on each individual basis. No one program is going to work for everybody out there, as Serge is mentioning. So what's your sense of how we're getting down to the grassroots here and solving this problem?
Well, let me just say, and I think the Mayor Weber has the right ideas. You have to approach them as human beings. I've been to some of these forums about location, and it's amazing to me how people equate homelessness with criminality, which is really not what happens. But I want to say, I think there's 2 or 3 things I think the local newspaper didn't get it exactly right. the mayor had priorities, and homelessness was not the highest one. And so the crime package was very high on his list. Some legislators that I've talked to, they didn't see homelessness on the Albuquerque priority list. So I'm not sure that it was entirely the legislature's fault for not giving the money.
Sure. And they got
but-
20 million for that crime stuff you're talking
Yeah,
about. so-
and they want to, and that is a number one issue in Albuquerque these days. Also, I think that the plan that Albuquerque has, there is not consensus around that plan. And I think one large shelter, they've got a proposed site not far from the studio, and that needs to be in the strategic plan for the university at some point, or the growth of the cancer center. So there's some ideas out there. The county has been asked for some $7 million. I don't think they're in agreement on the 300-bed facility. So I think that the plan itself doesn't have consensus. The voters were not given specifics about the plan. It was for a facility. And I am glad they're including neighborhoods, and I'm glad they're trying to get that. But I think things are really not consolidated yet, and they need to go. I think I heard that from legislators. They didn't feel like the plan was
That makes sense.
specific
As I hear you
and
saying it, that
solidified.
makes sense. Yeah, I could see that.
Public gave them 14 million.
Right.
And so
That's
they've
right.
got something to start with. So they have an opportunity, and that's what I heard from legislators was, because my first response was like everybody's, what? You don't care about homelessness? But they do, but they said, you know, you're not ready to have our money. And you do your design, you do your, consolidate your plan, as the lieutenant governor
The
said.
best thing we can do is do a half-baked center.
That's a good
Yes.
point. Let me ask Dan this question on that very thought. The idea of taking an old hotel, which has been floated out there, and using that as a homeless center right by the highway and, forgetting the road, not Carlisle, but Manal, thank you very much. Sent people on Facebook into a tizzy. You know, it just felt sort of pie in the sky. Like, why are we even talking about this? Is that part of the problem here? You know,
I'll just say two things. I know we're short on time. One is we're not going to address anything. We're not going to have any impact on homelessness unless we start talking about mental health. I mean, we talk about homeless vets and we talk about crime, but mental health. The other thing is that I would submit, having grown up in Cloudcroft, lived in Roswell, lived in Portales, and now live in Rio Rancho. The homeless problem in Albuquerque is a statewide problem. It's not a city problem. It's a statewide problem. The resources are here, and the communities outside, this is where they send the folks to get help. Once they get in the criminal justice system or something down in Roswell, they get bused to Albuquerque to get help, and then they get turned out on the streets when it's over. So I think until we take a macro approach at addressing this with saying, look, and to your point about the hotel, if you believe the only thing that someone needs at night is a place to lay their head and that's going to solve all the problems, then the hotel's a great answer. If you believe that there's far more issues with homelessness, to include children, families, to include breaking the cycle, violence, all the things that the drug addictions, the mental health stuff, they've got to come up with a holistic approach that's going to say, we're going to get people out here. And the last thing I would say is, it's going to take more than 300 beds.
that's
Take
a
a
good
lot more
point
than
there.
300
You
beds.
buy you buy a hotel for $15 million, and it becomes like the county building. You're going to spend another $15, $20, $30 million renovating.
because you have to retrofit it so the balconies can't be
Yeah,
used to
do
jump
the
off
things
and all
you
that kind of
need
thing.
to do,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
It's going to be a problem.
What's your number? Do you have a personal number? This is the last question of the night. For how many beds? If it's not 300, how many beds do you think we really need to get going here?
3,000.
3,000? Okay.
I mean, I spend a lot of time interacting with a population that is, if not homeless, precariously housed and transient. And
Yeah.
it's way more than 300, and I'm sure I'm not seeing
Interesting
tip of
point
it.
there. That's all the time we have for this week. Thanks for everyone here studying up, offering their thoughts. Now, don't forget to catch up with us on social media, especially Facebook, where we often poll our Focus on New Mexico group to figure out some of the topics we do each week.